Audio Jungle.
Police probing death of elderly man found in his yard. The Kingston East Police are probing the death of an elderly man whose body was found at the back of his premises along Snipe Road. He has been identified as 62-year-old Lloyd Hudson, who is reportedly deaf, blind, and mute. The police report that about 8:30 on Tuesday night, Lloyd was found lying in blood at the back of his yard. The police have theorized that he climbed the fence, sustained a wound, and fell. The senior citizen was found in a pool of blood and an alarm was raised. He was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Government says it is carefully monitoring deportation development. As Jamaica prepares to receive a flight of 107 deported nationals on Thursday, the government is reassuring the public that the return of the nationals will finally remove orders from overseas territories is neither unexpected nor unmanaged. The government continues to monitor the matter carefully and remains in direct communication with our counterparts in the United States and other jurisdictions, said Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang. He further emphasized that Jamaica, like other sovereign nations, is obligated under international laws to accept the return of its citizens who are subject to deportation. We have consistently fulfilled this duty while ensuring each case is managed with respect for due process and human rights. In the same way that we report foreign nationals who breach our laws, we respect the rights of other countries to enforce their own immigration laws. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith added that the government has long taken proactive steps to address the issue and that existing systems are aligned to safeguard both public safety and the rights of returning Jamaicans. We are not operating in reaction mode, and the relevant institutions are already aligned to respond. It is important to note that immigration enforcement has shifted globally, and while Jamaica is not exempted from its effect, we have been planning accordingly, Senator Johnson Smith highlighted. She added that deportees are also not a homogeneous group, as some have serious criminal backgrounds, while others have committed only immigration breaches. The government is fully aware of the security implications, and the National Security Council is actively assessing risk and strengthening strategies to protect public safety. At the same time, we continue to advocate for the fair treatment of our nationals abroad and ensure that those returning are met with a system capable of managing reintegration. This is not a moment for panic, but for preparation. Amid concerns surrounding public safety, particularly in relation to deportees with criminal backgrounds, Cabinet approved a coordinated deportation response action plan and established a multi-agency working group to ensure an orderly, secure, and humane process for any mass returns. Approximately 2,500 nationals have been confirmed for removal from the United States in line with due process and logistical arrangements. These removals are expected to be executed over the next 2 years. In 2023, a total of 655 Jamaican nationals were returned from the U.S., and in 2024, this figure increased to 814. Between January and April this year, 331 nationals were removed. Meanwhile, Minister Chang says arrangements have already been put in place to accommodate incoming migrants with a clear focus on security and reintegration. He explained that both his ministry and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade have been engaged in sustained dialogue with foreign governments and domestic partners to ensure that Jamaicans returning from abroad, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, are receiving and reintegrated into a structured manner. The technical work group established by the Office of the Cabinet comprises representatives from key ministries to include law enforcement, social support agencies, and civil society, and is tasked with delivering a streamlined response plan. This includes reception protocols, reintegration support, security vetting with appropriate and community liaison services. Government says it has written off over 1.4 billion of debt owed to NWC. The government has written off over 1.4 billion of debt owed to the National Water Commission. Minister with responsibility for water, Matty Samudo, stays under the NAAC Amnesty Initiative. Over $547 million in revenue has been collected. He stated that this is money that would not have otherwise been collected. Up to May 16, over 34,000 customers had engaged the NAAC seeking to benefit from the amnesty. The amnesty launch in January is being urged to settle outstanding debts and restore service to thousands of customers. The amnesty has benefited pensioners, PATH recipients, and members of the disabled community, with 50 to 100% reprieved. Meanwhile, Mr. Sumuda says an announcement will be made soon relating to an amnesty for small and micro business sectors. He was speaking in the sectoral debate.
Total reconnections thus far, 7,901 customers have benefited, had their debts written off and been reconnected to the Commission. This has also yielded some $547 million in uncollectible revenue. But the more important number is that this administration, through this initiative, has removed $1.4 billion of debt from the pensioners, PATH recipients, and the disabled community who were suffering under this mountain of debt. And for that, we are happy. They needed their water. We have returned dignity to these households. This initiative, for those who have engaged with the Water Commission, they don't need to worry about the date. Once their name is in the system, before the end of the month, we will be working through the process, and we intend to reconnect all 34,000 customers. We also, very shortly, for the number of concerns that have been raised with me by colleague members of Parliament, we are taking a very serious look at the small and micro business sector who also have asked for a similar program. We are going to conclude this for the pensioners and PATH beneficiaries first, and then we will make an announcement very soon for our small and micro business sector.
Global Jamaica Diaspora Council joins call for a public sex offender registry. Peter Garcia, Global Travel Diaspora Council representative for the Southeastern United States, has joined forces with the Female Development World Organization and E4Life, a leading Jamaican advocacy organization, in a united call for urgent legislative reform to protect Jamaica's children from sexual violence. This announcement comes in the wake of the tragic murder of 9-year-old Casey Ferguson by a known sex offender who was cut out of bail at the time of crime. The three organizations have endorsed a 6-point legislative action plan demanding stronger child protection laws, including the creation of a mandatory, publicly accessible sex offender registry in Jamaica. This tragedy is a wake-up call for the entire nation and the global Jamaican community, said Gracie in a press release. I am proud to stand with FDWO and E4Life in calling on the Jamaican government to take immediate action to protect our children and restore public trust. The 6-point plans include establish a public sex offender registry accessible to all citizens, enforcing stricter sentencing and parole conditions for child-related sex crimes, implementing electronic monitoring and psychological rehabilitation for release offenders, creating community notification laws to inform residents of known threats, closing loopholes in existing child protection legislation, and launching a national emergency child safety task force. The release cited that what is called a significant development in Prime Minister Andrew Holness acknowledging the need to revisit the legislation governing the sex offender registry. During a recent visit to the home of Kelsey, Holness noted, "We have to take a second look at our criminal justice system. I think this incident requires that we take a second look at how we make the sex offenders registry available to the public so that the public can be armed with information to protect themselves." This commitment from the Prime Minister has been welcomed by advocacy groups as a positive step towards enhancing child protection measures in Jamaica. FDWO, E4Life, and Graces urge Jamaicans at home and abroad to show their support by signing a petition demanding immediate legislative action. This isn't just a policy issue, it's a human issue. With the partnership of advocates groups like E4Life and committed leaders like Peter Garcia, we have the collective powers to drive real change. E4Life, a non-profit based in Jamaica, has long been in the forefront of supporting survivors of sexual offenses, especially young women and children. The organization has endorsed the proposed reform and continues to advocate for public accountability, transparency, and victim-centered policy changes. E for Life stands firmly with the diaspora and all advocates calling for urgent, life-saving legislative changes, said Joy Crawford, a spokesperson for the organization. Too many young lives have been lost and too many known perpetrators roam freely. This must stop now. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.